Sacramento has one of the highest pedestrian accident cases in California, and those numbers continue to rise. Jacoby Meyers strive to offer their clients the highest quality service with their knowledgeable team of experienced personal injury attorneys. Here with more is attorney and managing partner. We have Michael Akiva. Hi, Michael.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
We're doing good. So some shocking facts that we're starting the show off. So I wanted to ask, how can pedestrians protect themselves from accidents in Sacramento?
It's a good question. And really, my biggest concern right now is this new law that just got enacted by Governor Newsom. It went into effect January 1st, and it's called the Freedom to Walk Act. So the Freedom to Walk Act basically legalizes what we're already doing, which is jaywalking. And it does it without fear of getting a ticket. And what I worry about are the unintended consequences of that law. So now we can jaywalk legally, but who's at fault if I jaywalk and I get hit by a car? Is it the driver of the car or myself for jaywalking? And so as an attorney, it's up to us now to navigate these new laws that are being enacted and figure out now who could potentially be at fault.
Oh, wow.
But really it boils down to, so your question, really it boils down to the simple things that mom and dad taught us when we were kids. Being careful, using designated crosswalks. Don't jaywalk. Even though you're now permitted to do so under the law without any fear of a ticket, you can still get hit. And that's the biggest concern I have.
Yeah, that's important to know. So who can be held liable?
Good question. So the driver of the car could be held liable. If the driver is not the owner of the car, the registered owner of the vehicle could also be held liable. And depending on where the accident occurs, if it's, let's say, at a underlighted crosswalk or underlit crosswalk, excuse me, you could potentially hold the government responsible now for your injuries as well. And so it's up to us to now navigate and research who could potentially be at fault.
Yeah, all helpful information. And why is the I-5 portion from Del Paso Road to Rail Yards Boulevard in Sacramento considered one of the state's most deadly routes?
Yeah, I mean, just look at the structure of it. So typically when you're driving on the freeway, there's a lot of curvature, and naturally you're going to slow down when you're making a right or when you're banking right or left. Between those two roads, it is a straightaway. And so it's basically a freeway in its best sense of the term, and people use it like that, and they drive really fast between those two roads. I mean, there's also distracted driving, drunk driving, of course, but really just the way it's created, it allows people to drive faster than they normally would drive.
Wow. Okay. And so how do truck accident laws differ from those for other vehicles?
Good question. So when you think about the regulations around a truck, they're out there to protect us. Just look at the sheer weight and size of these vehicles. You want there to be extra regulations and protections. And so there's higher standards of care, for instance, regulating who and how they can drive those vehicles. There's unique regulations by the federal government. So driver license requirements, commercial requirements, the number of hours someone is permitted to drive is all regulated. And then lastly, there's also chain of liability issues that are only really common in truck accident cases. And so the trucking company could be held responsible separate from the driver, separate from the cargo company that loaded the cargo. And so there's so many different facets to a truck accident that are unique to trucks and not really unique to cars at all.
Michael, can a truck driver open a personal injury claim if not at fault?
Yes. So anyone who's injured because of someone else's negligence can open a claim. So it doesn't matter if you're a taxi driver, a bus driver, truck driver, Uber driver, anyone who is injured because of the negligence of someone else can open an injury claim. So it's irrelevant that they happen to be driving a truck at the time of the accident.
Alrighty, and whenever getting into an accident, it's never a pleasant time. So what legal assistance can hardworking Sacramento families turn to when they have been injured in an accident and are facing difficulties in recovering physically, financially, and emotionally?
So I would highly recommend hiring an attorney, especially one who has the expertise and experience to do it. So Jacoby Meyers has been doing this for over 50 years. We've seen tens of thousands of different cases. And so when I say we've seen it all, we truly have. And so we know how to navigate not only the newest regulations and laws, but all the existing laws, regulations, court cases that could potentially be applicable to anyone's case.
Michael, all very helpful tips and information that you provided us with this morning. Thank you so much. I'm going to let our viewers know where they can go for more information. They can visit jacobymeyers.com. Tomorrow